So if in order to calculate or measure, how to measure the electrode potential E naught value of an electrode, you need to connect it to SHE, and you need to draw a diagram in your P4 to show how you will measure it. And this diagram will carry 3 to 4 marks because you need to draw it as a label diagram. For example, in left hand side, you see that we have a zinc and zinc ion electrode. Zinc metal is dipped into its zinc ions solution, and we need to label. You can write, instead of writing zinc sulfate, you can just write Zn2 plus, Zn2 plus. That can be enough. And 1m stands for 1 mole per dm cube. That is also required to be written with zinc 2 plus, that it is 1 mole per dm cube. 1 mole per dm cube, its concentration. Then you connect this electrode, whose electrode potential has to be measured, with SHE, which is on the right hand side. We have seen this diagram and its labeling in the previous class, that hydrogen gas enters into the inverted bell jar from this entry point. This bell jar is filled with hydrogen gas at 1 atmosphere or 100 kilopascal. Then platinum wire is there, platinum electrode to carry electrons. And hydrochloric acid, instead of hydrochloric acid, you can write just hydrogen ions, H plus, and then 1 mole per dm cube has to be written. So these two electrodes are joined first on the outside as an external circuit through a voltmeter. V is required. Remember, in electrolysis, we used to have ammeter to measure the current. But in these diagrams, when you are determining electrode potential, you need to draw a voltmeter. And you don't need to draw a complete diagram of voltmeter. You just need to write its symbol, which is V. And then you need to join the solutions of the two half cells, two electrodes, by a salt bridge. In previous class, we have studied about what is salt bridge made up of. So salt bridge is just a filter paper strip, and it is dipped or soaked in potassium nitrate. ठीक है, तो आप इसको simple, you can draw it as a single line. You don't need to draw a double line or a tube. You can just need to draw a single line is good enough to show a connection. So salt bridge is required to connect ions, to maintain gradient of the ions. Jahan ions zyada honge, the ions in higher concentration will flow towards where the ions are in low concentration. Whereas the wire, this wire is made up of, these wires are made up of copper, and these wires are just meant to pass current. Now this diagram is now complete, but what he can ask you more about it is that what is the voltage that can be seen. So you can go to the data booklet and see the voltage given for zinc and zinc ion electrode. It is something minus 2.24. So that voltage is here, that can be evident because the electrode potential of hydrogen is 0. So whatever the value comes on the voltmeter is the voltage of the zinc electrode. Hydrogen has 0. Then you need to draw arrows to show the flow of electrons. To show the flow of electrons, you need to draw arrows on the diagram. So how will you show it? So we know that its electrode potential, zinc's electrode potential, is minus 2 point something. And for hydrogen, it is 0.0 volts. So the rule is that electron flows from more negative or from smaller electrode potential to larger electrode potential. Electron flows from smaller electrode potential, -2 is smaller, and number line follow kare. and plus zero is not plus or minus, but it is zero, so it is larger than -2. So electrons flow from smaller electrode potential या more negative electrode potential, यहाँ से flow करेंगे, और ये arrows, you need to draw these arrows, and these electrons then will go pass through the voltmeter and go to the hydrogen electrode. So these arrows drawing carries 1 mark, because zinc has a negative electrode and hydrogen has always a zero electrode potential. So the rule of flowing of electron is that electrons flow from smaller electrode potential or more negative electrode potential to larger electrode potential or more positive electrode potential. So in this case, zinc has minus electrode, -2 something, and hydrogen has 0. So electrons will flow from this to that side. Now you need to label which of them is a negative electrode. You are required to label which of these electrodes is negative. So negative electrode, negative लिखना होता है, cathode anode is not required in A level. Negative electrode कौन सा electrode होता है जिसकी smaller या more negative, smaller कह लें या more negative कह लें, more negative electrode E naught, जिसकी E naught जो है वो more negative होती है, वो negative electrode होता है. ठीक है, तो ये रूल है फॉर नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड. तो क्योंकि जिंक इलेक्ट्रोड हैज अ वैल्यू इन -2 एंड दैट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन हैज अ बिगर वैल्यू, तो स्मॉलर वैल्यू वाला जो होता है, स्मॉलर वैल्यू जिसकी होती है वो इलेक्ट्रोड नेगेटिव होता है. तो आपका जिंक इलेक्ट्रोड इन दिस केस इज योर नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड. तो आप इसके साथ साइन जो लगाओगे, इसके ऊपर आप साइन लगाओगे नेगेटिव का, और जो इलेक्ट्रोड नेगेटिव है उसके ऑपोजिट दूसरा इलेक्ट्रोड फिर पॉजिटिव होगा. सो योर